welcome back to Underrated Movies. I'm your guy, I'm your man, Mr. Alton Henry. And today we would like to introduce you to another underrated film that I had the pleasure of watching. And it's a very unique film, but I don't think it's going to be for everybody, but it has a very old school kind of vibe to it. Old school, definitely. And this film is called Waiting for the Barbarians, starring Mark 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 Rylance, Johnny Depp, and Robert Pattinson, and what's that chick's name? Gina. I'm sorry, Gina. I can't pronounce your last name. And I don't want to try. My apologies for that. And I think it's based off a book. Set, I don't know what year exactly, but I think it's set maybe in the 1930s or maybe sometime before that, where it centers on a prison, an outpost prison of sorts. And it deals with Mark Rylance's character, who in general meets Johnny Depp's character, who's like this big general, and trying to get information from. I'm trying to be careful with my words here. Trying to get information, infiltrate some people, and basically colonization and taking control. And you see Johnny Depp's character pretty much. Okay, what's the best way to describe this story? A colonel has I would say, a midlife crisis when another army colonel arrives and negotiates locals by using extreme cruel tactics of torture. That's the best way I would describe this film. And you had to look on Tubi, because that's kind of how the film is, where you basically have a guy who is at this outpost who basically has a sudden epiphany, like a change of heart, of constantly having to see the people that he is ruling over and holding prisoner being tortured and brutalized, and hearing stories of pure cruelty that the prisoners endure. So he has a change of heart. So he befriends with this girl who turns out to be blind from torture. So he starts to learn more of her story and learns more about her, which I think he kind of falls a little bit in love with her, but more so on the sympathy side. And Mark Rylance's character has a change of heart. That kind of inspires somewhat of a character journey of him trying to find a way of changing the outcome of his situation. And Johnny Depp, he's great in this. He's not in it for long, but in the scenes that he's in it, terrifying character, where this guy is basically an emotionless a-hole who does not care, only for the results of getting what he wants. And yeah, Robert Pattinson's character, who's like his second in command, who doesn't really show up until like an hour later into the film. Then you kind of start to see more of him kind of forcing himself to be as cold and calculated like Johnny Depp's character. And you kind of see that struggle in him a little bit. especially kind of like towards into the third act. I believe the biggest strong point is really the performances, and kind of want to be open where the story kind of goes, uh, where it's more like little mini sub stories that kind of happens with character arcs, and it changes over time, and you're kind of just seeing Mark Raylance character just pretty much trying to prevent as much violence and torture as possible. But unfortunately, when he returns this girl back to her tribe or her community, he is branded as a traitor and goes to prison, and he's tortured for it. And it to me, I think the film has a theme of how cruelty has consequences, and it will people who conduct such cruelty will have their day of reckoning, from what I've understand for what this film uh, was trying to portray, and the message from it. Um, Even if you have a change of heart, hopefully it counts, because eventually, um, karma does hit. From what I've understand from this film, karma does hit, and it's gonna be bigger than what you may imagine. Now, this film might not be for everybody, but it feels very old school, like kind of like the little mid to late 1990s kind of vibe that I got from this movie. And it feels very old school filming, and the film was shot brilliantly and beautiful. But I can understand it's a tough film to kind of sit through, because it's a film that does not shy away from the cruel aspect of human nature. Currently available on Tubi. Waiting for the Barbarians. Have you seen it? Comment below. Let me know if you have, and let me know what is your favorite underrated movie.